So, good morning. My name is Juliana Nwanli, and I want to thank the Executive Committee for taking the time to listen to me today. I work with Toronto Shelter and Support Services as a client service worker and also an AR shiftee at one of the men's shelter. I serve as a frontline worker supporting homeless clients referred from various shelters across the GTA. My role involves performing initial screening, assessing client eligibility for emergency shelter program, admitting new clients, and helping them integrate into the shelter environment. I do this by providing a tour, explaining our rules and policy, reviewing fire safety procedure, and introducing them to the housing first philosophy of the City of Toronto. Today, my colleague and I are here to dispute about the very dangerous proposed cut to the housing program that supports refugees in our city. I know it's not common to see a City of Toronto shelter worker disputing, but we work long hours every week supporting our most vulnerable residents, and it's difficult to find the time to be here. But we both feel it was critical to speak about on this issue because cutting funding for essential refugee services will make our city worse. Our shelters are already under immense pressure to meet the needs of unhoused people in Toronto. I can't begin to imagine how our program will be affected by such significant funding cuts. Many refugees come to the shelter system in extremely vulnerable state. Most have never traveled outside their home country, especially those from developing nations with little or no exposure to a place like Canada. For them, the shelter is their first experience of safety and stability. It's where they begin to understand and integrate into a new country and culture. They meet others in similar situations and they begin to heal. Our staff provide critical support, helping with legal hearing, work permits, mental health check-ins, and more. At my location at 76 Travelers Hostel, where I work, I've supported refugees from all over the world. One client who was a nurse back in his country, with the help of my supervisor, he was able to get a job at one of the hospitals with the city. I also help another client with his security license. These individuals are now paying taxes and contributing meaningfully to their new community. The pathway to healing and building a new life in Canada begins in the shelter for most of these refugees. Refugees gain courage, resilience, and hope. Cutting funding undermines Canada's commitment to its humanitarian value and to the principles of the United Nations. I am deeply alarmed by the proposed cut to refugee programs funding. We need more workers in our shelter, not fewer. We need more programs to transition people into permanent housing, not fewer. We need a better, more accessible shelter system, not one that is harder to access. Thank you for considering the item today, and thank you for advocating to the provincial and federal government for appropriate funding of this essential program. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.